ChadArmesTV, man. We are back with another sit-down interview. And this is a super talented artist that I found out about from Famous Animal, actually.
Yep.
And he is born and raised in Memphis.
Most definitely.
Super talented artist. Guy has a huge catalog, and I'm really excited to sit down with him.
Yeah.
We've got Smoov here, man.
Yo, what's good, man? Look, super excited, super blessed, man. You know, appreciate you for having me today, man. I'm definitely excited about what we're gonna talk about, you know what I'm saying? And just be able to get to know each other better and let the world get to know me, you know what I'm saying? So
for sure, man. So like I was telling you off camera, like I found out, you know, I try to keep in tune with like what's going on, especially in the state of Tennessee, especially.
Right.
But Famous Animal obviously is a huge platform that has really gained steam, and I'm constantly, I watch pretty much everything they drop.
Right.
And when I saw yours, it was actually on Facebook, I think, that I saw it. And you had the whole Hannibal Lecter like entrance.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big horror movie fan, bro. So like when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is cool. Let's see what this. It made me want to tune into it because I was like, okay, if he's going through this part, like he's got something he wants to say for sure.
Definitely.
He's on the Hannibal Lecter thing.
Definitely.
And then you was snapping. So then I just found you. I think I found your Instagram, and then I hit you up about doing the interview.
Definitely.
But let's just start from the jump, man. So you said you're born and raised here in Memphis?
Yeah, so I was born here in Memphis. I was raised in Memphis, and also I kind of consider myself being raised in Mississippi as well, just because I actually moved from Memphis in like 5th grade. And so a lot of kind of my adult years was like back and forth from Memphis to South Haven, Mississippi. So for me, it was just kind of like the best of both worlds. Like, it's really not that much difference because South Haven is literally like right over the state line in Mississippi, Memphis, whatever. So, but definitely, you know, this home for me, man. I definitely wouldn't trade it for nothing though, for sure. So, yeah.
Oh, cool, man. So so it's almost kind of like one and the same with this part of Mississippi and Memphis. They're so close together, I guess. It's very similar.
Right.
What was life growing up out this way? Like, what was your life like growing up?
Man, growing up, I seen a lot. You know, growing up out here in Memphis. You know, I come from a good family. You know what I mean? A lot of things kind of I saw early, like you know, my mom getting robbed and house getting broken into, and you know, all that kind of stuff that happens like out here anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, of course I was blessed and I was fortunate regardless of those hard times that happened. So overall I just feel like I mean, Memphis is, I mean, it's Memphis, bro. Like, you know, of course, people who not from here, you know what I'm saying, they try to say, well, you know, oh, you from Memphis, so you act like this, or you this bad person, or whatever the case may be. But really, it's not like that. I mean, everybody here, man, we down home, like, you know, we cool. But you know, of course, I mean, every city got crime, every city got whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? But Memphis is just one in its own, like all the way around, like from how, you know, we treat each other, how we treat the outsiders, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can recall the time I was in Atlanta and you know, I was just talking normal or whatever, and somebody was like, you must be from Memphis. So I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's just to show you like how strong our accents are out here and like stuff like that, man. We one of a kind. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
For sure. That Memphis, and me being from north of Nashville, we have our own. I'm from like the country, so it's even different, more different. But Nashville and Memphis accents are completely different, and we're only 300 or 3 hours away from each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I definitely see what you're saying. Like, you're so used to hearing it, whether you're saying it or your people's talking. Like when you go somewhere else and people hear your accent, it's like a culture shock to them. Even in Atlanta, where Atlanta's got their own, you know what I mean, cadence and vernacular and all that stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
Did you have play sports or anything growing up?
So yeah, man, I played football, man, all my life really. I started at like 7 years old. And so on up till high school. And so it's funny that you asked that because that's really why I started making music, because of football. So long story short, I played football at South Haven High School. And so I remember it was, I want to say it was the first game of the season. As a matter of fact, my senior year when we played, I want to say Grenada is the team that we played. And so long story short, man, I was out there on the kickoff. And so boom, I'm running down the field. The next thing I know, my leg like hyperextended. And then like somebody came and just, I mean, smack dead into me, man. All I remember is just, I mean, falling down, bro, the worst pain of my life. So I ended up actually messing with my meniscus. And so from there, it was kind of like, it was so hard, like the recovery process and everything. And so, and it was my first time, you know, ever getting injured, like in sports in general.
Yeah.
And so.
Was it high school?
It was high school. Yes, it was. It was high school. And so at this point, I'm just kind of like, bro, like, what do I do now? You know what I'm saying? Because I put so much time and effort into football, like all my life. And now it seemed like it just got taken away from me, like in an instant. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I remember being in the locker room with my teammates. And so we used to always just play around, just kind of like freestyling, you know what I'm saying? Beating on the lockers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I remember one of my guys, he came up to me, was like, bro, man, you ever thought about like taking music serious? I'm like, bro, no, not really. He was like, man, just try to make a song or something. And so I remember vividly, bro. I remember I was like, okay, I'm gonna try. My pops, he had this laptop, like a ThinkPad laptop or something like that. And so I remember Googling like how to make a song. And so I actually ended up making the song on the software Audacity. I think that's the name of it.
Oh,
yeah, that's why I made my first song. And so I remember it was to that Drake started from the bottom. I did a little freestyle from there that dropped it on SoundCloud. And I remember putting it out, bro. Everybody was like, they was messing with it, bro. And ever since that day, it was like, okay, this is what I like doing, because it give me, you know what I'm saying, an outlet to be able to express myself, like with me dealing with, you know, what just happened with football, you know what I'm saying? And like, it give me a chance to just be free. And I end up loving it, and I ain't stopped since. So
that's crazy that's kind of how, like you basically blowing your knee out.
Yeah.
Is like what, as much as I'm sure that hurt.
Yeah.
If that wouldn't have happened, would you have thought to mess with the music? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And I think about that all the time, because, you know, one thing I do know is that, you know, God don't make no mistakes. And so I feel like it happened for a reason, because, I mean, if it didn't happen, man, who knows? I may have not picked up the microphone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm grateful for it still. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Did you have aspirations? Was you trying to go? Was you like wanting to play college ball and stuff like that?
I was wanting to play college ball, And I actually, you know, went on some college visits and everything. I remember I was at the University of Memphis with two of my former teammates. One of them is actually was in the NBA. Terrence Davis is his name. Shout out to TD, my boy, or whatever. And so, I remember we was at a college visit at the University of Memphis a few years back, and I mean, I was in love with it, man. I still am to this day. It's just I'm in a different perspective now, you know, instead of me being on the field. So definitely.
That's cool, man. So like, okay, so let's backtrack a little bit as far as music. So that's when you started doing music,
right?
But what do you remember your first like recollection of like growing up, like at the crib with the family, like what songs or particular artist or style of music really started to like get you, like hit you different when you were like, oh man, and you maybe took you down a rabbit hole, whether it was rap, whether it was R&B or rock, whatever it was.
Right. Man, to be honest, my dad is a DJ, and so he kind of, you know, I remember like just him like messing around at the crib, like just DJing and, you know, preparing for parties and stuff like that. And, you know, I grew up around music. Like my mom still got a picture, man, when I was in like pre-K, and she still got it to this day, bro. I was like mimicking, like I was singing, like I'm talking about eyes closed, like giving it everything I got. So it was kind of like, even though I had that love for football, it was almost like the music was already in me. I just hadn't found it yet. You see what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
And so, outside of that, you know, just kind of growing up, you know, my pops was introducing me to certain songs, and I started just hearing the radio and stuff like that. And it really just wasn't like a particular, from my memory, like artist that was like, okay, I want to be like him. Until later down the line, when I remember I feel like the biggest like influence on my music, I want to say, or who I really just look up to, not even just music, but outside of the music, would be Drake. And I'm gonna tell you what made that happen. So I remember when I watched his video to God's Plan.
Yep.
And so like that video, it was just something about it, like it just touched me, bro. Like the people he had them people like crying with the gifts he was giving out, the money, the cars, like, and I was like, bro, that's everything I stand for. Like, I want to be able to do the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? One day be able to give back to my people with no problem. You know what I'm saying? And I remember he walked in, he was like, hey, you know, all y'all groceries on me. And like everybody was like, what? Oh my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like that's what life about. And even another cool thing is that I actually got his song like tatted like on my fingers, God's Plan.
Oh,
so
dope.
That's how much, man, it meant to me. So, you know, definitely. And that's I can't wait till I finally meet him, because I'm working to get to that point where we can get on the song and you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Because I know he done been in and out of the city a few times. You know, he done worked with Block Boy and I'm sure other artists and stuff like that as well. So yeah, definitely.
Especially with just his ties and his love for Memphis in general. When I interviewed Project Pat, we spoke about how Pat got the call to be on Knife Talk.
Yeah,
and he was like, bro, Juicy called me, and it was already a verse I had, and they said they were putting it on the song, and he said it wasn't nothing but a blessing. And it, you know, when Drake's pops is from here too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's kind of like those Memphis ties with him.
Yeah.
So that's dope, man. That's cool. Yeah. Any other artists that you're a big fan of, as far as like maybe not so much influence, just artists that you like to listen to?
So of course I like to listen to Drake.
Mm-hmm.
I like to listen to Kevin Gates.
Yeah.
I like Tory Lanez.
Yep.
I listen to some of everybody, but those kind of like my top three, I want to say.
That's cool. And that vibe is kind of all like similar, where it's rap, but it's also melodic.
Yeah.
Where they weave in and out of melodic.
And see, I'm going to tell you another thing, like another artist who I've really like been on heavy though, bro. And you probably wouldn't even believe this, bro, but I really fuck with Morgan Wallen, bro.
Oh, he's dope, bro.
Bro.
Yeah, he's dope, man.
Yo, he's super hard, bro. And I remember I just now heard the Johnny got with
Dirt.
Lil Durk. Yeah. Morgan Wallen is dope, bro.
No, he's dope, man. I think he's got two with Dirt. He's got the Broadway Girls, and then I think there's another one that they did.
Oh, dope.
But yeah, Morgan's dope for sure.
Yeah.
And so so the injury in football, and then your boys was like, man, you ever mess with music? And you started. Do you remember, like, you said the first one you recorded on SoundCloud? You just recorded at the crib, like on the Audacity?
Yeah, I did. I remember I was upstairs in my pop's crib, and I just was messing around with it till I finally got it right. And man, I put it out on SoundCloud. I remember I had some other friends who was kind of familiar with how to run SoundCloud and stuff like that, and so they kind of helped me maneuver it, and we put it out like that. So
yeah, and then from there, did it get it like its hooks in you at that point? Like once you did that, and you got to hear yourself.
Yeah, and see, that's what I feel like it was. It was like when I heard it come out, like for the first time, I was like, "Dang, bro, I really just dropped it." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from there, it was it. It was the rest was history, bro.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Especially when you're first getting into it, and I still remember the way, like when I remember hearing myself on a CD back then, or like. And it was awful, obviously, but you couldn't tell me that back then. Back then, you couldn't tell none of us that like that.
Right.
But that's dope. So do you remember the first project that you decided to put together? Was it like a mixtape you said on Spinrilla or something?
Yeah, so my very first mixtape was Smoov Criminal, is what I called it.
Okay.
And so, of course, I got it from Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Except I just spelled it with how I spell my rap name, which is Smoov. And so I remember... because around this time I actually was getting like CDs from where I recorded it at One Sound Studio. And so I remember they made me a little pack or whatever. And so I remember going to some basketball games in Olive Branch, Mississippi. And we was just posted up. I remember we had like our because at the time I had my little brand going. It was called Dead Right ENT. And so we had got little hoodies made. And so we used to go to the high school games, like wait till everybody come out, dish them out. You know what I'm saying? And, at that time I was in college too. And so I was on campus with it, like doing the same thing, handing out CDs and stuff like that. And so and to this day still, you know what I'm saying, those people still tell me, you know what I'm saying, like, man, Smoov, I still listen to Smoov Criminal and, you know, this and that. Yeah. So it made me feel real special, bro, that was still implanted into people's lives like that. So
that's cool, man. Yeah. Did you start, have you always been do you write all your music down, or is this
Yep.
Me too.
I do. Yep. All I do is write, and then people will be like, well, yeah, I want you to freestyle. I always tell them no, because I don't even want my initial impression, like if we just meet or whatever the case may be, for me to be like freestyling that it ain't good. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I've always thought, bro.
Yeah, I think that ain't me.
Yeah. I never freestyle because I don't want it to sound not as good. You know what I mean? And I don't want to look silly. Yeah. So when you started doing that and you started putting out, was the first project that you could, I guess people can go and grab off of streaming platforms, was that the Till I Get What I Deserve?
That is. That is the very first one as far as the streaming platforms go that people can go back. They back to that one. That'll be the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of where you started. Did you start seeing, like, when you dropped that, had you already got a little buzz together?
Yeah. And the reason how I came about with that name was because I remember like I was doing like little showcases and stuff around the city. Mm-hmm. And so I remember doing one at the Rumble Room in like the downtown area. And so I remember coming in first place.
Yeah.
But like the person who was over the showcase never went through what they were. Like what we were supposed to do, we were supposed to shoot a video and do all this. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? I worked hard, delivered what I was supposed to do. I won, but didn't get nothing in return.
Of course.
So it was kind of like, okay, cool. So then after that, you know what I'm saying? It was like going to another showcase, except this time I didn't place at all. But I felt like the people who did place, they weren't fucking with me. Yeah. So it was kind of like, okay, cool. I'm going to just humble myself. I'll be back again. So then it was kind of like a repetitive kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I was always in somebody's face, always on somebody's stage, but I felt like I just wasn't getting what I deserved as far as like, even just the recognition. It may not be like no record deal or nothing like that, because true enough, like I still was just now getting into it and really getting fluent and finding myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I knew my worth. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how I came about with the Till I Get What I Deserve. So I was just letting everybody know, like, till I get what I deserve, I'm just going to keep dropping and, you know what I'm saying, keep doing what I do. So, you know.
Yeah. And then did you start recording it? Did you start like, did you get like a home set up and then you was recording the crib? Or?
Well, actually, I actually was recording all my music at One Sound Studio.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I was actually getting engineered by Lou. He's the owner of One Sound Studios. And so he started off over there off Airways out here in the city. Mm-hmm. And then he moved studios and he's now off South Parkway in South Memphis. And so, big shout out to Lou. We've been working my whole career just about it. Then his son also, Tay Bands, he's an artist himself. And so he did the engineering and stuff, a lot of my music and stuff too. So I definitely been locked in with One Sound for a long time. So
that's cool, man. And then you did a couple of them. You did a couple of the Till I Get What I Deserve joints. And then I noticed that you was putting out albums. It seemed like a few tapes a year. Yeah. This is 2017 or so.
Yeah.
I know you put out Letter from the Heart. I know that was one that you put out, I think, after that.
Yeah.
And then the last one I remember you putting out album wise. And this is when I feel like you started to turn for like, because I listened to the whole catalog and like you've always been dope from the beginning.
Right.
But like with Trap Smoov, I feel like that's when you started to, because you'd been doing things for a couple of years, it felt like, now knowing what I know. And I feel like that's when it started to kind of turn.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when your sound started to really, like, I don't know, man, like improve, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And another thing that I'll say about you, man, because after that one, I noticed you were putting out a lot of singles, especially like during the pandemic. Like I noticed you was probably dropping once a month or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it was just that it was like a fight or flight kind of thing when COVID hit.
Yeah.
When nobody could go nowhere, and it was like you had to kind of content creators and musicians, man. We had to really get to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's when you really started to ramp things up, man.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you have another thing about you too, man? You don't really go out and you do all of your stuff solo too, I noticed.
Yeah.
When you got maybe 1 or 2 songs with features.
Yeah.
But like, that's another thing I'll commend you on, man, is that all the songs that I was listening to the whole drive up here was all just you.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
And that's crazy, man. And a lot of people tell me like I should go get features, which is no problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I just know that I am able to produce music like solely by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To be able to stand my ground as a music artist alone too. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
But I'm definitely, you know what I'm saying, always open to working with other artists because I have, you know, been a feature to other people's songs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I noticed too that you've got a couple of producers that you've really developed a dope sound with. It was T Glock is doing a lot of production.
T Glock.
Is it Fade Away J?
Fade Away J.
Yeah, I've been noticing that they do a lot of your production. Like once you started doing the singles, I don't know if they were doing a lot of the production on the albums previous.
Yeah.
But I noticed that they were producing the majority of the singles you were dropping.
Yeah, definitely. And
for sure.
T Glock that's actually my little cousin. So me and T Glock been locked in, man, for a long time. And so in the history of me and Fade, we met in college. And so I remember pulling up on him and he was making beats and shit in his garage. And so he was like, man, look, bro, let's go ahead and put something together. And so that was back in 2017, actually. Yep. He did some production, a lot of it actually, on that Letter from the Heart that we spoke about. So and T Glock as well. And so those been my guys, man, since day one. Like without them, man, it wouldn't be no me because you know what I'm saying, they have been a part of my career like from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? They never switched up. It's always been when I needed them, when I needed the beats, they was always willing to work with me, you know what I'm saying? And they just hard, bro. And it ain't even about, you know what I'm saying, like us, you know, getting to that next level, like, because I know they're going to do it anyway, because it got to a point where people started seeing our music and was reaching out to them like, hey, so I heard this, you know, Smoov, blah, 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 what's up? And next thing I know, you know what I'm saying, T Glock was working with artists out of the city, like Casino, he's with Moneybag Camp, and Faye, he got artists all the way out in Cali and New York and stuff like that, bro. So it's just a blessing for me to be able to say these are producers of mine who play so much, like play a huge part in my music career, man. And so shout out to them, man, for sure.
No, for sure. And bro, as artists, man, if you can find, and the fact you've got 2, but like if you could find one or 2 producers that are like go-to producers, like where you have like a Shaq and Kobe chemistry, on with music, where they kind of know what you're looking for, they know the sounds that you like, and y'all know each other well like that. When you get locked in with producers and engineers, stuff like that, man, it really can take your music to another level.
Definitely.
And so I know how that is, man, and that's definitely a good thing to have.
For sure.
I think that, and you didn't really miss with any of them singles I was listening to, bro. Like, I think my favorite one up until the newest one is I loved Keep Going. I thought Keep Going was fire.
Yeah.
And then you did one that was a Boomerang freestyle. Was that a big Jacking for Beats, or was that like one of the?
Nah, actually, T Glock made that.
T Glock made that one.
Yeah.
That was another one of my favorite ones. But all of them, you know what I mean, are all really quality tracks, bro.
Definitely.
And now let's talk about the track that you dropped in December.
Okay.
With Lil Baby. Called About to Blow. Okay. So that's another thing. When I looked up your music after I saw the famous Animal freestyle,
right,
I was like, man, I want to see what this guy's music's talking about, because most of the time the artists that are on there already have a catalog, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I saw that one.
Right.
And so talk to the people about how the About to Blow song came about with Lil Baby and all that.
Okay, yeah. So really, you know what I'm saying? It was a verse that I had a few years back. I never released it because really it was kind of from it was a challenge that was going on a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I said, I recorded mine, but I never released it. So all these years later, I was just going through my singles and all the music I had on my phone. I was like, man, let me play this verse. So boom, played the verse. I'm like, yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I think this would be dope to put out, you know what I'm saying? And just see, you know, how do people react to it? Like, what, you know, if they fuck with it or not. So I remember running it by my distribution company. Was like, hey, you know, I got this verse. You know what I'm saying? Can we put it out? You know what I'm saying? They got a Lil Baby verse on there too. You know what I'm saying? If that's cool. And so I remember they was telling me like, okay, we got to reach out to Lil Baby Camp, you know what I'm saying, to see if we can put it together. And so I remember like, man, like a week later, the song was out like on the platforms. And so I'm like, damn, like, shit, it's out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so I remember, man,
didn't get blocked or nothing.
Yeah. So I remember, man, going on Spotify, bro, and like overnight, like that shit was at like 100,000 streams. And I'm like, bro, it's crazy. And so now it's like almost at 800,000.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's crazy. And there's so many like Instagram reels and, man, Facebook reels out there like to the song and stuff like that, bro. And so it's definitely dope, bro. And I got a lot of traction from there too. So, yeah.
That's dope, man. That's cool. That's dope that they was able to, you know, they got it cleared to where you could put it out like that. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So you kept going with that. Like, let's talk about Famous Animal. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Famous Animal too.
Yeah.
Man.
So, and they're based here in Memphis, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep,
Do you want to talk about how that came about? What made you like, you know, choose the song you did, or how the Famous Animal thing came about?
Yeah. So, it was something that I had always wanted to get on anyway. You know what I'm saying? It was just a matter of me finding the right time to do so.
Yeah.
And so one of my guys hit me and he was like, yo, are you familiar with Famous Animal? I'm like, yeah, I know Famous Animal and shit. And he was like, well, I'm in the airport with him right now. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he was like, man, I'm going to chop it up with him and see about you getting on the platform. So I was like, boom.
Mm-hmm.
So he hit me back. My guy hit me back. He was like, hey, we're going to set it up for this date. You know, he said it's a go. And so a couple weeks after that, I ended up going to the platform and spot out here in the city. And so I went on there, bro, and I remember my barber, Sean the Barber. Shout out to Sean the Barber. He also an artist too.
Is he the one in the video, the Future?
Yeah, that's him. That's my guy right there.
That's a fire freestyle too.
Yeah,
bro.
I appreciate
that's a fire
bro.
track too.
Yeah, my guy Sean, he was like, bro, when you go on Famous Animal, bro, you know, you need to think about something you can put together to grab people's attention.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, man, all right, cool. Now, I'm going to tell you what's so crazy. Like, okay, the track that I did was called Locked In, right? So
yeah,
for Halloween, me and my girl was like, I was the inmate and she was the officer type shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. So fast forward, my guy, my barber, he was like, bro, you remember when you came to the Halloween party, you had the little jail fit on, or you can wear that. So I'm like, I think about it, like, okay, so Locked In. Okay, I kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And so that's how that skit came about that you see in the beginning of the video.
Yeah.
And so, and which is crazy because if you see like the comments, you know, of course you got people saying, yeah, it was corny, that messed up the freestyle, all that kind of shit. But like, if you really like pay attention, I mean, it's kind of obvious why I did it. If you just think about what the song title is and that thing of the nature. So, yeah, that's how it came about, bro. And that shit went crazy, bro. I know that shit had like at least 500,000 views across Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, it's been going crazy.
Yeah, and I love that you turned it, that you made a single out of it, and that's my favorite song that you've got in your catalog, probably.
For sure.
And I love how you performed it on Famous Animal too. Like you was animated with it, like you had a dope ass performance with it too.
For sure.
And that can't do nothing but help. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And so, talk about what you've got in the works. You've got for 2024.
Okay.
you got an album in the works? You just gonna keep dropping singles, or
man, I got a lot of content, bro. I got a lot of music. It's just a matter of me trying to continue to figure out, you know what I'm saying, the correct way to drop it. Now, it ain't no rules to put your music out.
Yeah.
But I feel like you gotta be strategic about it. Like you gotta,
no, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? It gotta be the right time. It gotta make sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, in between time is where you kind of fill in like your famous animals and your podcast interview, stuff like that, so people can still see you working. But at the same time, you know, on the back end, you know, you record your songs, getting your drops, shooting your videos and stuff like that. So I've been trying to, you know, watch a lot of interviews with, you know, I see A&Rs and just people in the music industry in general. And so a lot of them say that putting out a whole project may not even do as well as just that one song, because that's all it takes. But for me, it's just like, I like dropping a couple songs together so my people can get that full effect. You know what I'm saying? My fans.
For sure.
Because just focusing on that one song, like, it can become like so repetitive. But in actuality, I mean, repetitiveness is good, because that mean everybody hearing it over and over and over, so they got no choice. So it's kind of like one of them love and hate things, man.
No, for sure.
I don't know if I'm gonna put it like all together as one project or just keep splitting them up. I really haven't made my mind up, but definitely I got a lot of music down the way. For sure.
No, that's cool, and you really can't go wrong. I think, and I'm like you too, man. Me being from the older era too, and now adjusting to the new era, like, I like to put out albums. I'll roll out 5 or 6 singles from the album first. And then I like to put the albums out. That way people can stay on the album when they're on Spotify instead of it just sending them somewhere else.
Right.
But you can get just as much traction off a single as you can a full project, for sure.
Definitely.
Now, especially with everybody's, because like in the comments on Instagram for Locked In, people were like, the intro's too long. I'm like, it was like 20-second intro, bro. Like, y'all got 20 seconds?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like, it wasn't a 3 or 4 minute intro. Like, our people's attention spans are so short now that they just wanted to skip right past it because it didn't start immediately.
Right.
But that's just kind of how, unfortunately, the way the world's, you know, moving now. But but I'm looking forward to hearing more from you, dog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I think that I'm glad that you was able to sit down with us and kind of let the people in on like who you are as a person, like kind of what motivates you as an artist, and kind of, you know what I mean, your outlook on things, because that stuff always helps out, especially when there's not a lot of that style content out on certain artists. I think that it helps out. And the people on ChadArmesTV, the YouTube channel this is on, they're going to be introduced to you, and hopefully if they're not familiar, they'll get familiar with you. For
sure.
And so y'all be sure to his links will be in the description and in the live chat when we do the premiere. But y'all definitely need to tap in. He's got a lot of dope ass music, and he's got some dope content on his YouTube. He's got some cool music videos, and I'm sure he's got more rolling out. So
for sure.
So Smoov, it's been a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, man. Look, man, Chad, I appreciate you having me, man. Look, everybody that's watching this, man, y'all stay tuned. I got a lot of music on the way, guys. Y'all go tune into my music that's out already. You know what I'm saying? Any artists y'all want to work, get with me. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up on my socials. Follow me on Instagram at the #1. And then Real Smoov. That's my Instagram, my Twitter, YouTube channel is all uniform. You know what I'm saying? So y'all get with me. Like I said, man, it was an honor, bro. You keep doing what you doing, not only for me, but for the other artists that come behind me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Because we need these platforms, bro, these outlets, like you said, just to be able to fill people in, like, of who we are, you know, just in general, just to hear us talking and not just seeing like the videos and the pictures. You know what I'm saying? You really can hear our voice and, you know what I'm saying, see our reactions and everything like that. So I appreciate you, Chad, and man, it's been dope, bro. It's been a pleasure.
No, for sure, man. So, and like I said, I look forward to working more in the future, man. So y'all be sure to subscribe to him and follow him on Instagram and Twitter and all that. For sure. And we'll catch y'all on the next one, man. ChadArmesTV.
For sure.